What are we doing? How are we allowing players like this to take advantage of the transfer portal? This is too much. There is no way, let me repeat this, there is no way that you should be able to enter the transfer portal and 3 months later enter it again. Man, oh man, there's a ton of stuff going on today, including we got the playoffs, which is cool and all, it's fine and dandy, but even more importantly, we got spring games going on. And even more importantly, Alabama's spring game is going on and Colorado's. We're not going to be talking about those spring games in this video, maybe later tonight or early tomorrow morning, so stay tuned. But what we are going to talk about is how this transfer portal that just reopened for spring is getting out of hand. To be 100% transparent with all of you, I already thought it was bad enough, but what I saw last night, it took it over the top. And when I show you what I'm talking about, what I'm referring to, I think every single one of you, you're going to agree with me. Because the transfer portal was supposed to be a good thing. It was supposed to be something you used if you're in a terrible situation. But now players are just abusing it. And I don't want to sound negative because I told you guys since day one, I love the transfer portal. I think it's great for the players and kids. They should be able to leave a school and go to a different one if things ain't working out because coaches do it all the time. But where my problem starts to arise, just like I said, people are abusing it. We're going to talk all about that, but also remember a few videos ago when I was showing you Bryce Young how he scored a 98 out of a 99 on the test results? And the test results I'm referring to is pretty much how smart a quarterback is heading into the NFL draft and all that stuff. Well, check this out. All the other test results from the other quarterbacks have came out, and you are not going to believe how poorly CJ Stroud did. I'll give you a hint. Bryce Young scored a 98 out of a 99, and CJ Stroud was below a 40. Yeah. Shocking to say the least. To add in there, we got another minor topic to speak on. I think it's safe to say we got a jam-packed video. Hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday. Enjoy the day. Hope you got some warm weather. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I say we go over this because it intrigues me. Not because I think the test is some major deal, but it intrigues me because Bryce Young, top quarterback in the draft, did so well on it, and the other top quarterback, CJ Stroud, did so poorly on it. I need to give you some context. If you have no idea what the S2 cognition test is, I believe that's how you say it. Basically, it shows you if you're mentally ready for the NFL, and it's all this pre-snap movement type of stuff. It's based on stuff like reaction time, your decision making, and understanding to read defenses. Yeah, that's about as simple as I can make it. Obviously, like we've already stated, Bryce Young, 98 out of 99, flawless. Under that, we got Jake Hayner, never heard of him, 96. Then we got Will Levis, other top quarterback, 93. But as we continue to scroll on down here at the very bottom, we got Hendon Hooker, 46%, and CJ Stroud with an 18. Do I think it's some major deal? If I'm an NFL team and I had CJ Stroud high on my board, am I going to look at this and go, oh, guess we can't draft him? No. I believe I've already said this reference. This is about as big as a deal as it was with Joe Burrow's hand size. Who cares? I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything, but its significance is very, 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 very small. And I'm going to leave it at that. I don't have too much more to say about it besides this. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. I am curious. Do you think this is a big deal or is it not? And when I say I'm curious, I am curious. I want to know your guys' thoughts down below, and I'm going to read off some of the comments in the next video because I want to know how y'all feel about these test results. I don't think it's a big deal, so I'm not going to overhype it, but if you guys do, maybe we'll talk about it again. Speaking of quarterbacks, we got a guy who's been flying under the radar. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year. He got hurt and everybody forgot about him. Hendon Hooker, we got some news about him. So check this out. Apparently and allegedly, several NFL scouts reportedly believe Hendon Hooker will end up having a quote-unquote better NFL career than Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. I'll speak on that in just a second. Continuing along here. Many scouts believe it is a quote-unquote real possibility Hooker comes off the board with the 16th overall pick to the Commanders. Hooker also stated in a recent interview that he believes he's the QB1 in this year's draft. And last but not least, he believes his age 25 gives him an edge in being a mature leader. And I like that last part because I see where he's coming from and I would agree to a certain extent. That may be the only, if not the only benefit of being a 25-year-old quarterback in an NFL draft. You are going to be slightly more mature than most other QBs. So I would agree from that standpoint. Now, taking a look at this, saying that Hendon Hooker might come off the board in the first round with a 16th overall pick, I don't think anybody has predicted that. I haven't seen it anywhere. But, and I have a big but, I've been saying this for a while now, the disrespect towards Hendon Hooker, it's just too much. I don't know if I'd take him over Anthony Richardson, but I would. I promise you, I'd take him over Will Levis. I just simply would. For me personally, I think Anthony Richardson has way too much potential to pass up on him and take Hendon Hooker. But as far as it goes for Will Levis and Hendon Hooker, I think it's 1A, 1B. I think a lot of people forget just because he had that season-ending injury, Hendon Hooker was one of, if not the best quarterback in the country last year. I said quarterback, I meant to say quarterbacks, but you get what I'm trying to say. And I firmly believe that Hooker's game translates over well to the NFL. Why do I believe that? Because what made him so good at Tennessee? Accuracy. Josh Heupel even came out and said he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks he's ever been around. And in the NFL, it doesn't matter if you can throw the ball 70 yards if you're not accurate. Sure, Will Levis has a cannon. Sure, Anthony Richardson has a cannon. But if you're not accurate, what does it matter? And also, this should be common knowledge. The NFL is about dinking and diming your way down the field. It's about those 5, 10, 15-yard passes. That's it. I think for Hooker, it's all about going to the right team with the right system and the right fit. He's not a Bryce Young. He can't go to any team and be successful. He's got to go to the right team. But if he does go to the right team with the right system, right head coach, and right fit, similar to Brock Purdy, I think he can be special. We'll see what happens with that. Keep your eyes on it. I would be shocked if he gets drafted in the first round. But moving along here to the main topic of the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about the good old portal. Oh, man, the transfer portal, it's been going crazy to say the least. And I just want to jump straight into it. This is what did it for me, so check this out. Penn State's cornerback, Storm Duck, what a name by the way, has re-entered the NCAA transfer portal. What do they mean by saying re-entered? Because he entered the portal in January, and that's how he landed up at Penn State. He left I can't even believe that. He left North Carolina in January, this January of 2023, a couple months ago, to go to Penn State. And now, 3 months later, he's entered the portal again. What are we doing? How are we allowing players like this to take advantage of the transfer portal? This is too much. There is no way, let me repeat this, there is no way that you should be able to enter the transfer portal and 3 months later enter it again. I get it. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I'm amped up, but I feel very passionate about this subject. Because you know what happened, right? This kid, he went to Penn State thinking he was guaranteed to be the starting cornerback and he was going to be a star. And more than likely, he didn't win the job. And he's like, all right, dang, well, guess I'll just go somewhere else where I can start right away. Where is the competitiveness? Where is that dog in you? Just like this comment says, it's spot on. It's amazing how many players enter the portal and don't find a new home, and a lot end up in worse situations than they were in. You're 100% right, Kevin Rich. I guarantee you this. If he would have stayed in North Carolina, things would have worked out. And here's a fun fact for you. I'm not just making this up. This is a cold hard fact. 40%, let me repeat that number, 40% of these players, there's over 3,000 of these kids that enter the transfer portal, they never find a new home. 40%, what is that? Rough estimate here, that's 1,400 kids don't find a new home. Actually, hold on, I think 40% would be 1,300. I don't know, I'm not pulling out the calculator or doing any math. You get the point. Over 1,000 kids don't find a new home. Here is my question. As a man, after transferring for your 5th time, when do you look in the mirror and go, dang, maybe I'm the problem? As a man, when you date all these girls and none of it works out, when do you look in the mirror and go, dang, maybe I'm the problem? I could continue to go on and give you thousands of analogies. You get the point. I'm all for these athletes with getting one free transfer. I'm cool with it. But if you transfer twice, unless it's some crazy circumstance, I believe you got to sit down a year. I do, because this would cut down on all this BS. And I just stumbled across this. I think it's a great point. Check out what Tyrann Mathieu, a.k.a. the Honey Badger at LSU, had to say. I hate the transfer portal. I sat behind Pat P, Mo Claiborne, and I loved it. Made me hustle harder, work harder, push me to greatness. That's not a recent tweet, by the way. He tweeted that out years ago, but it just got brought back up. There's nothing more I need to say. This is the downside. This is the negative effects of the transfer portal that nobody's going to talk about. You're not going to see anybody talk about this outside of me, because nobody wants to bring this to light. We just want to preach to these kids, oh yeah, man, if it don't work out at old Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, just head on to a nurse school, man. It's all good because these kids, they have this mentality of, hey, if I go to North Carolina or if I go somewhere else and it don't work out, I can just leave. No big deal. We're giving these kids outlets, and more times than not, it's not good. I'm going to repeat this again. 40% of these kids in the portal do not find a new school. 40%. Yeah, safe to say the transfer portal is pretty bad. I would love to talk about this more, but I got to get back to watching some film on this Colorado and Alabama game, because we're going to talk about this soon. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below about